What's going on, everybody? Will Murphy here with Iron Will Fitness. Today's video is going to be about your body showing what you put into it. Your body is going to show everything that you do for it. It's going to show, if you're eating correctly. It's going to show if you're getting activity. It's going to show, if you're getting enough sleep. Your body's just going to look how much of each of these you're getting in. If you're taking in junk food like crazy, it's going to show in, fat in your body. It's going to show in your skin. It's going to show in the wrinkles around your eyes and things like that, stress marks and all that other stuff on top of that. Sleep, it's going to affect your skin. It's going to affect, your wrinkles on your face. It's going to affect, clearly how your eyes look, because, I haven't been sleeping much lately, so my eyes kind of closed all the time. And how much you're working out is going to show in how your muscles look, regardless of whether or not you lose fat. It's going to show in how your muscles look. If you eat correctly, it's going to show. Your whole body's going to look better. It's going to feel better. You're going to feel like you're running with more energy and stuff like that. Because you're putting in quality fuel in your body. And I know a lot of people say it, but you got to think of it like a race car or an airplane. You're going to put premium fuel in both, right? You're not going to just put unleaded gasoline in them and call it a day. You're going to put premium fuel in them because you want to take care of them. You want them to do what they're supposed to do, and they don't take regular fuel, they don't take junk fuel, as it were. And then, like I like to say, you want to think of fueling up a plane because you want to give yourself just enough fuel to get where you're going for the day, and not put extra in. So when they fuel up a plane, they only put enough in to get where you're going, like a little extra in case of a delay, but basically they put in enough to get where you're going. They don't fuel up the whole plane, right? Well, you're not trying to fuel up the whole body. You're trying to just put enough fuel in you to get through your workouts and your regular work day and things like that, and not overdo the amount of fuel you put in, because if you overdo the amount of fuel you put in, things will start to go wrong. You can still get, large off healthy foods, even if just because you're over portioning. You're not making your portions small enough in those foods, so you wind up going over in your protein, carbs, and fats in those foods. So you got to watch that too. But it's a lot easier to binge and go over on calorie dense things than it is nutrient dense things. Calorie dense things really don't provide you with much satiation. So like your pizza and your breads and things like that are really high in calories but don't offer a lot of nutritional value. Those things don't really fill you up. You can eat. The answer why most people can eat a whole pizza in one sitting, because those calories really aren't doing anything for them. That they're not giving their body any fuel to do anything extra special with them or anything like that. However, if you eat like say steak and sweet potato or something like that, you're going to feel full pretty quick, because those foods are nutrient dense. They have a lot of nutrients in them. And they're not just all your nutrients aren't coming from simple carbohydrates and things like that. So that's things you really need to consider when you're eating. Your body is going to tell the tale on what you're eating. No matter how hard you work out, you can't outwork a bad diet. It's been said a million times, but if you think about it, you go to McDonald's and you get a thing of fries and it's 250 calories. Well, that's a 30-minute run right there, okay? Or close to it. 20-minute, 30-minute, it's still a run. That's 120 burpees or something like that. That's a lot of work. And do you really want that for your large fry? I don't think you do, and especially for everything you eat like that. So if you eat 2 items like that a day, you're looking at a really long workout to burn off the calories for that. And even so, it doesn't work like that. You don't burn off like whatever calories you put in your body last. So like if you binge and eat like crap over the weekend and then spend the week trying to get back down to where you were before the weekend started, you're going to spend 3 or 4 days of your current week working on getting back to where you were from the week before. So you make 1 day of progress, 2 days of progress, and then the next weekend comes and you do the same crap again. You're making progress 1 day at a time over like a week. What's taken you like 6 months to do, somebody else that was eating right and doing the right thing as far as sleep and getting their activity in, they did it in a month, or they did it in 2 months when it took you 6 to 8 months to do the same thing, because, you just had to eat whatever you wanted on the weekend as if the weekend didn't count for some reason. And so your body's going to tell the tale. I mean, it might not tell it immediately. You might not see, and unless you experiment around, you're not going to know. Unless you can actually put these foods down and things like that, your junk foods and your fast food and alcohol and bread and sugar, if you can't put those down and see what reaction they have on your body, and not just for a week, you need to do it for something like 30 days. That's why I make these, 30-day challenges. I don't really like calling them challenges, but, I'm challenging you to do 30 days without these things and see how your body reacts to it, is basically what I'm getting at. So if you never give these things up or anything like that, then, you're not going to know what impact it has on your body. And you'll just, after 30 days, I guarantee you, if you've been eating junk food up until this point for like the last 2 or 3 years, maybe even 10 years, if you've been eating junk food and you spend 30 days eating clean food, you're not going to like it at first. That's just all there is to it. I mean, there's all kinds of clean foods I'm sure you do like, but you're not going to like having them for every single meal every day. But you're just going to have to get over it. Like, we all have to do things we don't like for the things that we want the most. So, you're just going to have to get over it and move on and, bite the bullet and spend 30 days doing this and see how you feel after 30 days. If you hate the way you feel, then by all means go back to what you were doing. But I guarantee you're probably going to love the way you feel. And you probably will, at the very least, add more whole foods into your diet and take out some of the, foods that you were eating. You won't go straight back to just eating those foods. So that's the idea behind the 30-day challenge. And if you're following along and you're eating right, your body's going to tell exactly what you've been doing. Because I've been doing a really good job actually, and I'm leaner, but I'm the same size as far as weight goes. So I've gained muscle, but my muscles are showing better and things like that. So that's super good. That's exactly the kind of thing I was hoping for. I wasn't really looking to lose a lot of weight or anything like that. I was looking to shape up my body and build lean muscle and, lose body fat a little bit, but not lose weight. Hopefully, you've been following along and you're reaching your goals and it's working for you and it's helping you out. At the very least, I hope it's inspiring you to maybe get up and go to the gym or something like that if you've been, kind of lacking in that department here lately, or slacking in that department. But it's the beginning of the school year, a little bit after the beginning of the school year, and Halloween and Thanksgiving are coming up. Those are going to be big eating holidays and things like that. So, and Halloween is a little bit worse because it's mostly candy and stuff, and even I have a sweet tooth. I like to get Reese's and things like that, and don't think I won't. I'll probably take off one day of my diet and have some Reese's, but it's just the way it is. And I'm just like y'all. I like the good food. I just know better than to eat it all. So that's the end of the video. Just keep in mind, whatever you're putting in your mouth, it's going to show in your body. Whatever activity you're not doing, it's going to show in your body, and whatever sleep you're not getting, it's going to show in your body. Check me out on YouTube for the workout videos coming up here pretty shortly. Check me out on Instagram for the workout post. If you already know the exercises, you don't need the videos, but if you don't know the exercises, the videos are on YouTube. That's at Iron Will Fitness. I'm Iron Will PT on Instagram. I'm Iron Will Fitness Training on Facebook, and I'm on the internet at ironwillfitnesstraining.com. We'll holler at you later. Give me a holler if you need any help. Peace. Our first exercise for the beginner overweight obese program is going to be the leg extension. You want to make sure that the machine is set up correctly with your knees directly across from the pivot point, and the ankle pad set up so that it sets just above your feet and just below your shins on your legs. Begin this movement by sitting in the seat with your feet behind the ankle pad. Straighten your legs, squeezing your quads. Once your legs are straight, squeeze your quads just a second at the top of the movement, and then lower with control back to the bottom of the movement. Repeat these steps for reps, and you'll do 2 sets of 10 reps for this exercise. Our next exercise is going to be the seated leg curl. To do this movement, make sure that the machine is set up properly by having your knees directly across from the pivot point, and the ankle pad set up so that it's just above your feet and just below your calf muscles. To begin this movement, sit down in the seat, lower the knee pad down on your knees, and begin by squeezing your hamstrings and curling your legs under, squeezing really hard at the bottom of the movement, and then returning to the top of the movement slowly with control. Repeat these steps for reps, and you'll have 2 sets of 10 reps for this exercise. Moving on, we have the machine chest press. To do this movement, make sure the machine is set up properly for your size. Make sure that you choose the weight that you'd like to use. Sit down in the seat, pinch your shoulder blades behind your back, and begin by pressing the bars straight out. Squeezing your chest at the top of the movement once your arms are fully extended in front of you, and then returning to the starting position slowly with control. Repeat these steps for reps, and you got 2 sets of 10 reps for this exercise. Our final weightlifting exercise today is going to be the machine seated row. To do this movement, select the weight that you'd like to use. Grab the handles and sit on the seat. Make sure that your back is straight and upright. And begin by retracting your shoulder blades and pulling your elbows as far behind you as you can. Squeeze for just a second when you're at the back of the movement, and then return slowly with control to the front of the movement. Repeat these steps for reps, and you'll have 2 sets of 10 reps for this exercise. Don't forget to get your walk in before you leave the gym. If you don't want to walk on the treadmill, you can walk around the track, you can go swimming, you have other options. Just do something that is low impact on your joints and that will help you burn some more calories. Make sure that you're getting it in. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Our first exercise for the beginners today is going to be the dumbbell chest supported row. I choose chest supported rows because it makes it easier for you to keep your back straight if you haven't learned how to use the muscles in your back to hold a straight back. This is the best option we can come up with so that you don't have to worry about it and you won't cause any back problems to yourself. For this movement, I've chosen the incline bench, and I'm on top of it with my knees in the seat so that my feet don't have to touch the floor and my face doesn't have to be on the back pad. To begin this movement, lay down on the bench with your chest on the bench and let your shoulders stretch around your back. Begin by squeezing your shoulder blades together and pulling your elbows as far behind you as you can. Squeezing for just a second at the top of the movement, and then returning slowly with control back to the bottom of the movement and letting your shoulders stretch. Repeat these steps for reps, and let's do 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps for this exercise. Our next exercise is going to be the dumbbell incline press. We're going to focus a little bit on the upper chest for this upper body day. To begin this movement, set up an incline bench and get a couple of dumbbells. Lay down on the bench and pinch your shoulder blades behind you with the dumbbells fully extended over your head. Begin by bending at the elbows and lowering your dumbbells down to your chest with your elbows underneath your shoulders. This will help keep the weight out of your shoulders. Squeeze your chest and push the weights all the way back to the top. Squeeze for just a second and then repeat these steps for reps. You'll have 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps for this exercise. Our next exercise is going to be the cable underhand pull down. To begin this movement, you'll select the weight on the cable machine and make sure the hip pad is set up so that you can get your hips up against the hip pad. Reach up and grab the bar about shoulder width apart, underhand grip though, and set down with your hips underneath the hip pad. Begin this movement by contracting your shoulder blades and pulling your elbows down all the way to the bottom. Squeeze for just a second at the bottom of the rep and then return to the top of the rep slowly with control, making sure to extend your arms and let your lats stretch so that you reach up as high as possible and get full range of motion in this movement. You'll have 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps for this exercise. Our next movement is going to be the Arnold press, made famous by, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger. To do this movement, you're going to get 2 dumbbells of equal size. They don't necessarily have to be heavy. Your shoulders aren't inherently strong on their own, so using too much weight brings in other muscle groups, which doesn't help you build your shoulders at all. Take the 2 dumbbells and bring them up to the top of a curl position. From there, you'll start the movement by moving your elbows outwards, and then once you've come outwards with your elbows, you're going to push straight up. I don't want you to turn your hands on the way up without pushing your elbows out first. This is like a 4-part movement. You go out and up, squeeze at the top, and then down and in. So I want you to make sure that you're not just pushing them straight up and turning them on the way up. I want you to turn your elbows out, and I want you to press up through the movement over your head. Squeeze your shoulders at the top, and then lower back down and turn them all the way in, and that's 1 rep. You have 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps for this exercise. Make sure that you have a low enough weight that you can control the weight and keep your back from arching too much while pressing the weight over your head and not bringing in too many other muscle groups. So keep the weight relatively low, and let's get this done. Our next movement is going to be the cable biceps curl. To perform this movement, lower the pulley on the cable tower all the way to the bottom. You can select a bar. You can either use a straight bar or you can use an easy bar like I'm using here. To begin the movement, start in the standing position with your arms all the way down and the bars in your hands, making sure that your arms are straight and your elbows are slightly forward against your hips. Squeeze your biceps and curl the weight up to the top of the movement. That's as high as you can go without bringing your elbows forward at all. Squeeze at the top of the movement for just a second, and then lower with control back to the bottom, making sure to straighten your arms completely. Repeat these steps for reps, and you've got 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps for this exercise. For our next movement, we got the cable triceps push down with a rope. Begin this movement by raising the pulley all the way to the top of the cable tower and attaching a rope attachment. Grab the rope on either side at the bottom of the rope and start by bringing your elbows to your sides in about the same position you would have them in for a biceps curl. And then straighten your arms with the rope in your hands and widen the rope at the bottom as much as you can, squeezing your triceps as hard as you can at the bottom. From there, let your arms bend and return to the top slowly with control, and repeat these steps for reps. You'll have 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps for this exercise. Today we're going to focus on our obliques with the Russian twist. To begin this movement, you'll sit down on either flat on the floor or on a mat and try to balance yourself on your butt. If you can't balance yourself on your butt, it is okay to have your heels touch the floor, but we want to get to that point where we can balance ourselves on our butt because that means our core is getting stronger. Once you're balanced on your butt, you're going to turn your shoulders from one side to the other, making sure to turn as far as you can, and then return to the other side and try to have as much control over this movement as you can. This keeps your hips from twisting at all with the movement, so it's really good for working the twisting motion of your obliques. We're going to do 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps per side for this exercise. Don't forget to get your cardio in. I've been trying to record different ways of doing cardio to give you more ideas for your cardio options. Right here I'm doing just a short mini circuit, and you just repeat this a few times and you're through your 15 minutes. And it's really rough. You'll start feeling it pretty quick after you start, but this is a type of HIIT training. I suggest you try different styles of cardio to really help improve your overall ability to handle more extreme workouts. I hope you have a great workout, hope you have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Our first exercise for our intermediates today is going to be the barbell overhead press. To do this movement, you'll load up a barbell with a weight that you think you can use for the press. You'll see me doing it in a overhead press bench here. The reason for that is because I can lean my back against the back of the seat and handle heavier loads without arching my back too much and causing lower back problems. You can do this in a power rack if you'd like. You don't have to necessarily do it in a bench setup like this. Originally the idea for this bench I think is to sit down, but I'd rather just stand up and have my back up against it so that I don't arch my back too much. Anyways, to begin this movement, what you'll do is you'll load up the weight on the barbell that you'd like to use, lift the barbell out of the rack, and you're going to start at the top of your chest. Start by pressing the weight straight up over your head. Your hands should be about shoulder width apart on the bar. Once you're at the top of the movement, make sure that you squeeze your shoulders as hard as you can, and then lower the weight back down to the bottom. Slowly with control, don't just let it fall onto your chest, to the top of your chest. Repeat these steps for reps, and you'll have 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps for this exercise. Our next movement for our shoulders is going to be the dumbbell bent over rear delt raise. To do this movement, you'll have 2 dumbbells of equal size. You're going to bend yourself over, keeping a straight back. If you can't keep a straight back bent over, then the best idea is to lie on an incline bench on your chest and squeeze your butt to keep your back straight and your whole body up against it. Hopefully by now, being an intermediate, you know how to keep your back straight in a bent over position. And you'll begin this movement by letting the dumbbells hang in your hands, and then you're going to pretend to spread them apart as far as you can. I don't want you to think too much about lifting them up. I want you to think about spreading them apart. Once you're at the top of the movement, which should be elbows directly across from your shoulders, lower the weight back down to the bottom with control, and then repeat these steps for reps. You'll have 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps for this exercise. Our next movement is going to be a weight plate front raise. You can choose any size weight plate you'd like to use. You can use a 10 if you're not very strong. You can move up to a 25, and then a 35 maybe if your gym has them, and then on to a 45 eventually. To begin this movement, you'll just stand with your arms at the bottom position with your hands in front of your hips and the weight plate in your hands. Using just the fronts of your shoulders, I want you to lift the weight all the way to the top so that your elbows are directly in line with your shoulders at the top of the movement, and then lower slowly with control back down to the bottom of the movement. Repeat these steps for reps, and we're going to do 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps for this exercise. Our next movement will be the dumbbell side lateral raise. This movement will work the medial head of your delt, and you'll begin this movement with 2 equal sized dumbbells in each hand. Make sure you don't use too much weight so you're not bringing in your traps into the movement. And you'll begin on your sides, not in front of your body, and you'll raise the weight up to about shoulder height, squeeze for just a second, and then return to the bottom position of the movement. You're not coming in front of your body. We're not trying to generate momentum. We're trying to use the muscle to lift the weight to the very top of the movement So make sure that you're using a weight low enough that your muscles can handle it in your shoulders and they're not bringing in muscle groups like your back or your traps. And that when you raise the weight to the sides, you squeeze your shoulders and then lower the weight back down with control. You'll have 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps for this exercise. Our first movement for abs is going to be a crossover mountain climber. This is a version of the mountain climber that goes just a little bit slower, and you're bringing your opposite knee as close to your opposite elbow as you possibly can in a high plank position. You're going to want to start by having your hands about shoulder width apart, and then you're going to begin by planking your body and making sure that your body's completely straight by squeezing your glutes and abs. You're going to bring one knee up to your opposite elbow, so if you bring up your left knee, it's going toward your right elbow. You're going to hold it for just a second, as long as you can, and then you're going to return to the starting position. And then you're going to repeat this with the other leg, and then repeat these steps for reps. You'll have 4 sets of 10 to 15 reps per leg. So it's going to be a little bit difficult, but you've got this, don't worry. Let's get to it. Our second ab movement today is going to be the floor crunch. You begin this movement by laying on the floor. You can either lay on a mat or you can lay directly on the floor. Either way, it's going to be okay. Begin by lifting your head off the floor with just your neck muscles, because this activates your abs. If you're holding your head up with just your hands, then your abs aren't going to be activated for the entirety of the movement. Once your chin is in your chest, go ahead and start by squeezing your abs and curling your upper back off of the mat so that your shoulder blades come off the mat. And then lower back down with control after squeezing the abs. And let your abs stretch for just a second. So you really want to put effort into stretching those abs, and then squeeze again and initiate the next rep. You'll have to repeat these steps for reps, and you'll have 4 sets of 10 to 15 reps for this exercise. Our final movement today is going to be the seated calf raise. For this movement, you'll need a seated calf raise machine like this, or there's a pin-loaded version also in some gyms. To begin this movement, get your knees underneath the knee pad. Make sure that the balls of your feet are on the platform. And then you're going to lower your heels below the platform, stretching your calves as much as possible, and then raise up, squeezing your calves as much as you can, lifting your heels to the top of the movement so that you're on your tiptoes, and then lower back down with control. Repeat these steps for reps, and you'll have 10 to 15 reps for the 4 sets of this exercise. And last but not least, don't forget to burn up those extra calories with a little bit of cardio at the end of your workout. 15 minutes will help you burn the extra calories necessary and have your body in a calorie burning state for just a little bit longer after your workout. I hope you had a great workout. I hope you found this really informative. Have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow. Peace.